Well, hello everyone again. After the bowling on C Sharp series that I did, I wanted to do something even closer to how I like to work, which is pairing with people. So we are gonna be joined today by Matsi Jansky,
Jansky, yeah, hi
Jansky,
Jay.
um, who is an ex-colleague from Coherence. Uh, Masi, do you want to say hello?
Hey, hello and hello, and hey.
Okay, so the work that we are going to be doing this time, we are going to be doing in Rust rather than the C Sharp. But Matsi, you want to go ahead and
hmm So this is a coding challenge I put together about a year and a half ago, when I was first starting to pick up Rust. I think it's a bit rusty around the edges, funnily enough. But the broad idea of it is this: it's a kind of very, very simple, very rudimentary text-based adventure game. So if you run the application, you just get this text-based prompt. You can say help, see what the commands there are. You can type look, and it'll describe your area. So it says your feet rest upon green meadows. So it's the area you're in. And when you look around, you can see certain items in the area. So we can see a potion. And we can say pick up one to pick up a potion. I don't think we can actually use it. I don't think it ever got to the point of being able to use an item, but you can just kind of pick up an item, and then you can help and exit. If you exit, it gives you a little. You have not the faith to go on, and you exit. And I think it also doesn't. If I remember right, it doesn't actually check your parameters properly. It doesn't validate your inputs, so you can do things like pick up banana and it just crashes. So there's obviously like a bunch of different ways and to improve this and things we could do. At the time, I noted a few ideas. The whole concept of a challenge was just to kind of add things you think are cool to this, right? Just grow it in whatever direction you think is interesting. But we had a few ideas around, okay, you could start by adding a new item. That's quite a simple one. Try to refactor how the commands are handled, because right now they're handled quite naively. Try to add new areas and a way of moving between areas. Right now, there's no kind of move north, move east. That doesn't exist. So add something like that, and then adding enemies and combat. That's sort of the different possible directions we can go in.
Okay. Oh, can I ask you to move to make increase the size? Sorry, to increase the font
Yes. Yeah,
just
of
a
course.
minute.
How's that?
Perfect. And I'm sending this a second. Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Uh, cool. I think we are gonna start with the adding an item.
Mhm.
A new item, and then depending on how long it takes, we can maybe look at some of the other stuff, some
Mhm.
of the other work that can needs to be done. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. In that case, you're gonna start the driving while I navigate, and I'm gonna get the Pomodoro running. So
Mhm.
we can start now. Uh,
Cool. So for the record, I have not looked at this repo in quite a long time, other than like briefly looking at it just before the session to be like,
hmm.
wow, the architecture is worse than I remember. So it's gonna be a bit of like discovery and figuring out how any of this works.
Hmm.
But the main loop is just that it goes through and it says, okay, I've got a game that is running with a new
Hmm.
game state. And then in each loop, you match on game and you say, okay, if the game is running, take a command, process that command, and overwrite game with a new game state after that's been processed. And if it's not running, then you sort of print a message and close.
Okay, that's fine.
Um, as for items, let's see. We have an inventory. Oh, here we go. Inventory has an item type. Okay. and then you have an item. An item has a name and an item type. Your inventory is a vector of items. And I guess there must be something in area that makes the... Yeah, here we go. So when you create a meadows area, it creates an inventory for meadows that contains a potion, the name potion of type potion.
Okay. Okay. So an area is gonna have a stuff on it, yeah. So that's why an area can have an inventory.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like it's just a bit of kind of reuse of this struct. Presumably, this is the same. Presumably, it's also used to keep. Yeah, here we go. To keep track of the inventory of the player. Yeah. So a game state has an inventory.
Okay. And is there a way right now for a user to pick up the item?
Is there a way for the user to pick up the item? Yes. Yeah. So there's the pickup command. So when you... Oh, here we go. This is where we've not really followed command pattern. So we've basically got a match that matches on the input and looks at every string. If you send anything that isn't recognized, it'll say, oh, there is actually a use command. Interesting. Okay. It's just missing from the help, I guess. So anything else you say, it'll tell you, we don't recognize the command. But when you do pickup, it'll say, all right, take the index of the item you're requesting, get it from the inventory, and return a new state where your inventory now has the item. So you're saying self inventory with item basically clones inventory with a copy of the item, returns game state.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any tests around the items? Is there anything specific that we have?
We have some tests here. What are they testing? So they're doing look around, pick up item. Picked up item is no longer in the area. Print help message. I don't think it has any... Oh, here we go. Drinking potion increases health. So it looks like you can pick up and you can use an item. So this does new game state process, pick up 1, so it picks up the potion, and then does use 1, you drink the potion, status, and then your health is 11, which I guess... Oh, there's also a status command. So yeah, I'm missing a bunch of things from the health command. Like if we do status, we have health 10, do pick up 1 to pick up a potion, use 1 to use a potion, status, and our health is increased by 1 point, so we have 11 health points. Okay, so...
Okay, so in that case, maybe to do something simple, instead of a potion, there could be an item that is a venom, and that's just the opposite. Produces in 1 the health of the character.
Of the player, yeah, good idea. That makes sense. Okay, so we start with test, yeah.
Yeah.
So drinking, we're calling it venom, yeah. Increases health. And let's say this would be a second item in this area. Pick up 2. Then that would use 1 would be the same because it'd be the only thing in our inventory. So we have index 1. And we expect the message to not be you drink the potion. We expect the message to be you drink the venom. For some reason. And then we want our health to come out 9, right?
Yeah, okay. Very quickly, so when you start the game, it automatically creates a Meadows instance. Is that correct?
Yes. When you do new game state, it'll create a default sort of starting area, which is Meadows, which spawns to start with just 1 potion in it, but we could add a venom in there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's go by one. We know that there is a how's it called? We have a failed test right now. and the test is failing because we are going out of bounds, so it's panic. Which will be, panic is kind of the equivalent to an exception in other languages.
Yep.
Okay, so let's gonna sort out that first. Let's gonna make it that it doesn't panic. Which is just for now. We can add the second item, which still is gonna be potion, just because we haven't created yet the idea of venom. And at least we pass line 184, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so we'll be able to get past this just by adding a second potion. Yeah, let's try that. So the whole potion. Let's actually new line this a bit. Whole potion is there. If we add a second one, it'll be there. That broke a bunch of other stuff.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Oh, these are fragile tests. Look at that. They're because now when you use a look command, there are other things, because there's a second potion also in the area now. It's yeah.
Okay, so let's gonna start looking into those tests first. Because we have broken tests. We know that there are brittle tests, because we are testing the wrong thing, yeah?
Yeah, we're not very well isolated, it looks like, because we're just taking the default thing. We're not kind of injecting any test state into game state.
Okay.
So we could either update these tests, which I think is a perfectly fine solution, but it might lead to, like, we might have the same problem in the future.
Yeah. And I'm thinking as well that if we have in the future we have additional we add other items that we want to test on the full process or whatnot. If we just change the test based on what we have right now, it will make it every single new test that we add, we are gonna have to do kind of similar, yeah. So probably it's better if we start looking at rather than starting a new game with middles by default, we maybe can create a new area that we pass to the game state.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I had that in mind as well. I think we can create an area here and then pass it in when we do game state new, right? But maybe we call this something different. So.
Before you go, before we do anything else, that is something new. I haven't seen that before. Line 31, pub crate. So that's public within the crate only.
Yes, yeah. So this, you can't create game. So if you were to use this as a library in your own crate, you wouldn't be able to call this new function. But within this crate, you can. It's quite handy. I only stumbled across it, I think, because of IntelliJ started recommending it to me, and I was like, "Oh, that's quite neat."
Interesting. Okay. I was going to say that there is how's it called? The game development with Grass by don't remember his name. Sorry, Herbert Wolfson, something like that. I will have to put it on the description once I create the test somewhere below. He does use Prelude, which we have seen in other places, yeah? Like everything that you want to expose publicly is exposed through the Prelude. Which I was thinking right now, if at some point we create a kind of integration test or whatnot, they are in a separate crate, the tests, aren't they?
Yeah, so in this case, we don't have any acceptance tests. I think probably if we were to do this more seriously, the correct way to do this would be to have one library and one binary, where the binary uses the library. So we'd have a lib.rs as well as our main.rs, and then you'd have acceptance tests in a separate folder that sort of test from the outside the whole thing and everything it exposes. But the way it works right now is just that you have game, and then a bunch of tests inside game. which is, doing it this way is conventional inside Rust, putting tests in the same file. But I think it's also advantage to having what they call acceptance tests in Rust, is sort of a separate folder with separate tests outside of this area, in that those tests can only access what's actually public, like the same thing someone consuming your library would see.
Okay. So that's something that we can deal with maybe at some other point. We can do the idea of going for a more standard or more expected approach. Okay, so for now, what we want is to start a new game with an area that we can pass. Will that make sense? So that way we can create an area that has specific items.
So maybe a from method, like
game
state from this thing I'm injecting, like from. Gonna offer to auto create that for me. Maybe not. Doesn't look like it. Oh well. So from here we have an area we can define. We could say stick that in here. Import area. Import inventory. We only need one item now. Type. Okay, so how about now you're going to offer to, okay, so we're going to go create fn, oh, hang on.
No, you're already creating the area on the fly, yeah? So the only thing that we need to modify right now is that from, which doesn't exist.
Yes, yeah. So create fn from, oh, hang on, this is in game message. Wrong area. We want the new inside game state. So add a game state with all these things, but instead of creating meadows, take an area from here. Make sense?
That makes sense.
Doesn't like, okay. So it looks like I'm having to like throw my mind back to what was I thinking when I wrote this? But it looks like I intended for description and it looks like I intended for area to only be created from within here. It's like it's very encapsulated.
Yeah.
So you can create a new area from in here, but you can't like initialize it from outside of here. So perhaps we could create a new method on here that would be a bit awkward if we wanted to have a method for every version we wanted to test.
Well, if we have a new for area, and that new receives a description and an inventory collection, then we can pass that information, and then everything stays.
That makes sense. Yeah, let's try that. So description string. Maybe make it just to make life easier. Inventory.
Actually, before you go with this, do we have any tests around look? And is there any way to check, like, how can I say it? Yeah, so if I want to test that the new is doing the right thing, I will have a test around maybe look, yeah?
Look? Oh, as in using the look method, right? Yes. Okay, yeah. So maybe we should have that's a good idea. We could do a smaller test case that just covers checking that this from words, right?
Yeah. Can we have it, in fact, instead straight onto the area? Because this test is only around area, yeah?
Yeah, true. So if we did a new keymod TFN, then let's say hang on, let me comment out this because this is not going to compile. But let's say create new area and area area new should take a description like my test area, and the inventory we could pass a vector of items. An item is declared like so. I guess the item doesn't have a descriptor, doesn't have a constructor for it. So we're just using struct. What's it called? Struct initialization syntax, I think.
Yeah.
So we do, let's say item. Just to test whether it gets passed in correctly. String from my test item. Item type body one got, which is potion.
Yeah, that's fine.
That equal result dot description, would it be? Yeah, result dot description should be my test area, and it's equal result dot inventory. Hang on, let me just check what the first line, whether it actually compiles. Oh, of course, it's complaining about new. Right, yeah, so the new doesn't exist yet, therefore it doesn't know the result type, therefore it isn't able to infer where what I'm typing here. But I think it'll be enough of something like that to get the first item. And then the name of the item should be my test item. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
Let's gonna. Yeah, go and create the function.
IntelliJ, unfortunately, because of these impl blocks, IntelliJ is not quite clever enough yet to put the function in the existing impl blocks already there. But if we just do that, we've got our function. This is our description and description. This is our inventory. So area, description, inventory, from inventory. Oh, and this will be string from description. Just getting the types right. Oh, and it needs to return area. Okay. So now it's happy at least with the types coming back from there, but now it's confused about this because I've probably got the wrong name of this function. A method not found in inventory. So what does inventory give us? Gives us a look command.
Index is what you wanted?
Ah, so we can index it, right? Okay, so maybe we can do that. Dot name.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, expected. So do I need to specify this as usize then? That's a bit funny. Right? Expected usize.
No. It's telling you that it expects usize with the borrow. That's a bit strange.
Yeah, I've also done something funny when I was. Let's take a quick look at inventory. Not necessarily to fix it right now, but just to see what's going wrong.
Yeah.
So we've got implement index for inventory, and we've put that as a reference. So it looks like every time you index inventory, you need to make sure the thing you're passing is a reference, which is a bit strange. Yeah, I'm not sure why that happened.
Yes. Okay, we can correct that, change that later if needed. It does look strange that a use size is being passed as a...
Yeah. Okay, so we can create a new area. So let me quickly commit this actually. Just that change. See if that's area. Create a new area. Or let's say constructor for text areas. Is this text a decent size? There we go. Perhaps a bit better for the stream. Now we also these broken tests, right? We can just fix them easily now by removing the additional item we added.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're just down to one. Oh wait, hang on. Because this one's commented out.
But create new area is failing.
Right. Yeah, I missed that. I thought it was
it's 0. Yeah, it's a 0 base index.
Yeah, because at some point
ampersand.
At some point, index is transformed. Yeah, okay, it happens elsewhere. It's not inside inventory. Okay.
Okay. In this case, I will probably just amend the last commit.
Yep, good point.
And now we have a running. We can actually push this with.
Force it up. Oh, I just realized one. Wait, why am I on master? I thought it was on the other branch. Oh well, never mind. Screw it. We'll just do it on master. I'll figure it out later. Okay, so we've got all test passing now, so we can uncomment this one, yeah?
Yeah.
So game state from area new.
Funny enough, this makes creating a new area actually slightly easier. So maybe something that we'll have to look into later.
Okay, so I'm getting a bit confused about my brackets. Now if we got, I think this one isn't closed.
Can you actually move area to the next line? It's because it goes over 80 and in case...
yeah. So, okay, yeah, that one's closed there, and then we're missing one more here. Closed from... Okay. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it makes more sense for area to be on a new line, but not necessarily game state.
Yeah, exactly. That looks better.
Cool. These things that IntelliJ pop up are kind of annoying because they mess with your indentation. I'm now not sure if my indentation is actually correct or not because this is like getting shoved along. Oh well, it looks correct in IntelliJ at least ish.
Yeah, I cannot say I'm a fan of the IntelliJ doing that. I think there's a way of stopping it, yeah, but
I feel like it's a useful feature, but it shouldn't also mess up formatting, right? Like maybe if it appeared on the end of a line instead of a start of a line, or if it appeared like inside the white space over here or something instead of shifting everything along. It's a bit weird. Yeah, anyhow. So, do we have a failing test? Yes, we do. Index out of bounds for len is 1. Oh, yes, so this should be pick up 1 or pick up 2. No, we've only got one item.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
It's just where's the new error? Okay, it's just the.
This is the result is not what it expects.
Yeah, but that's because we haven't created yet the type potion, yeah?
Right, yes. Let's create a venom type or variant venom. And so we change this to venom. We'll probably get a different error now.
No,
it's
just. Oh, yeah.
Yes. We're going to get compile error because the match statement is now not accounting for every case, which is really cool. One of my favorite Rust features.
Yeah, that's.
Is that that's the timer?
Yeah, that was the timer, and also I was going to say that feature is exhaustive matching, which you can have as long as you have how's it called? Some types. Are they called some types or product types? I should know this, and now I don't remember. Yes, as it comes the right pointing where I can say, oh, there's something good that I can say, and I don't remember. That's okay.
Right.
Maybe I will remember by the time that we do the next Pomodoro. Awesome.
Cool.
In that case, let's gonna go for a break, and we will see you later, people.
Yep. See you in a bit, mate.
Bye bye.